Thanks for tuning in to another episode of From Funding to Fame, where we interview the founders and funders currently raising capital on FrontFundr, as well as experts in the private capital markets. I'm your host, Trieste Redding, the head of campaigns at FrontFundr, and I'm excited to introduce more Canadians to equity crowdfunding. This podcast episode features conversations about a business's current operations and future plans, and as a result may contain forward-looking information. There can be no assurance that forward-looking information will prove to be accurate, as actual results and future events could differ materially from those anticipated in such statements. Listeners should not place undue reliance on forward-looking information. Today we are here with the co-founder and CEO of KIIMA, Samuel Lemire Dupont. KIIMA is reimagining everyday skincare with innovative, low-waste solutions that prioritize both performance and the planet. Their journey began with a refillable applicator designed in Quebec and made in Canada, offering a durable and 100% recyclable alternative to single-use products. Since launching in 2020, KIIMA has over 800 points of sale across Canada and abroad, more than 10,000 orders shipped, and an outstanding 4.77 out of 5 rating. Their impact is growing every day. Here are some highlights. KIIMA offers a patented refillable applicator, natural refills, and a circular value chain designed to reduce waste significantly. Their unique technology and integrated approach sets them apart in a rapidly evolving market. KIIMA and its 12 partners bring extensive expertise in personal care management and innovation, strengthening their collaborative commitment to sustainability across 8 countries. The global sustainable personal care market is valued at over $100 billion, while the deodorant market alone reaches $24 billion annually. With an annual growth rate of 13% for refillable products, KIIMA is positioned as a key player to capture and expand this potential. Through diversified sales channels, including pharmacies, subscriptions, e-commerce, and B2B, and continuous innovation in skincare, they plan to expand their presence and grow revenue opportunities internationally. Hi, Sam. Thanks so much for being here today. Welcome to From Funding to Fame. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Very excited to learn more about yourself. I was just going to say, can you give us a bit of an overview on kind of that moment of inspiration that led to the founding of KIIMA, as well as a brief description of what it is that the company does?
Yes, absolutely. I think it all started with brainstorming with Jenny, my co-founder, about the fact that the skincare product that we use on daily basis, they do end up in the landfills. And it kind of was crazy for us to just think that our deodorant stick will stay for 300 years and just taking landfill space while we use them for less than 30 days sometime. And so it started with the issue, really. And then our mission, sorry, could you repeat the second part of the question, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So just giving us a bit of an overview as to what the company does.
Okay, perfect. Amazing. So at KIIMA, we're rethinking the most used daily skincare and personal care product to ensure that they never end up in landfills again. And so we're building a range of solutions that are without compromise, that stay very effective, that are locally made and manufactured here in Canada. And we're shipping worldwide to ensure that skincare become refillable.
That's amazing. It's definitely, I feel like disrupting that industry for sure. So what were the early days of the company like? Were there any initial hurdles that you faced as you were maybe trying to find the right kind of application or formula? What were those early days with the company like?
I'd say the early days were very all focused about making the best product possible. And so it was a stealth mode into R&D phase, working first on the packaging and then starting to work on the recipe. On the small hurdle that we've met, well, there were not small, but we started the production manufacturing cycle in the middle of COVID and the full R&D cycle in the middle of COVID. So as a startup launching in this crisis moment, we, of course, have been facing several type of challenge, but I'm glad we can say now that we survived through that wave and we're thriving more than ever.
That's incredible. It's definitely a challenge for so many businesses who were starting over that period, but I think those that were able to do so successfully, you really built a lot of resilience within the company early on, which is always great.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask as well, how did you go about kind of finding those first customers? What was that process like for you guys?
For us, when we did the market study, and we've been looking at how the deodorant market is segmented right now and who's the leader in the industry, we quickly realized that if we want to gain market share, we have to go towards a more collaborative model. And so that's why we have our own KIIMA refill, but we also have other brands refill that we are offering on our KIIMA.co marketplace. And the first customer we went after were these established skincare company. I think one of the first customer that gave us a go was Green Beaver in Hawkesbury in Ontario. I will recall this moment forever when I left the office of Green Beaver, and there was that sparkle, that interest to work with us. And so that's how we really started working with established skincare company, and that has been very beneficial for us because they have been sharing so much knowledge on the industry, how to approach the market, and where to go, that I think we started the company with a step in advance.
That's amazing. Now, you've talked a little bit kind of on the mission, really looking to deliver sustainable, refillable skincare for a zero waste future. So maybe you can dive into a little bit more how KIIMA is different from all of the other kind of companies on the market.
Absolutely. Well, the first part, you mentioned it, we do design our own packaging, which is by itself very, very different from the conventional skincare or cosmetic industry, where people are doing their own recipes, their formulas, and then they look for the right packaging for it. So for us, we start from the issue uh, being that these packaging end up in landfills and people are not satisfied with current natural product on the shelf. And we work directly from that to ensure that from the get-go the final product is going to meet the customer demands. And so in that sense, we have designed very, very unique refillable applicator that we have received patent already for. And so in the formula, we also have been working closely with the right partners, so with Green Beaver, as I mentioned, but with many other brands that add that market fit already for their formula to incorporate into our applicator. And then for the formula that we design in-house, we are working with focus group with people that had a hard time to find the right natural deodorant that works. And we really are community driven. So when we are building new product, we work with our community. And then when we release these products, they are already approved by our community and we know they will be a success.
That's fantastic. Now, I think just even looking at kind of the background you have with the product there, like the design aesthetic, I feel like is very also different from what's on the market. Was there a great deal of kind of thought that you guys put behind the design and how to make it look different than other players on the market?
Absolutely. Where the thought came from the fact that we know the user is going to use that product for many, many years. And so we wanted something minimalistic that could just fit on the top of your counter and just looks good over there. We think eco-friendly should be the result of a design thinking process, but it should not be the entire identity of a brand. People likes vibrant color. People are looking for nice product in their daily life. They're not just looking as eco-friendly. So eco-friendly should be a perks. It should not be the entire goal of existence of a product. So we're doing deodorant. It has to work. It has to protect odor. But why not make it look good?
I think that's a great point. It's definitely something that if it were on your counter, it would probably blend in well with your regular design for sure. So I think the effort that you guys put into that definitely is paying off there with a very unique looking product.
Thanks. I
Um,
appreciate it.
Absolutely. I think as well, just obviously as you highlighted kind of the hundreds of years it can take to break down regular deodorant packaging. It's obviously a significant issue in the beauty industry just with overwhelming kind of plastic waste, harmful ingredients, lack of sustainable high performing products. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more, what is the market opportunity that exists for, bringing something that is more sustainable and eco-friendly and better for you to the market?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we are at the right timing where a big part of the consumer are looking for more eco-friendly product and more natural product. We are at this stage of awareness where we know that currently what's on the shelf, a big part of it is not really good for our health and does not align with our ethos and how we want to live our lives. We're talking about cosmetic, but this issue is affecting the food industry and many other types of industry. And we are at this stage where, as a consumer, we have this choice and this consciousness that our choice does have an impact. And as billions of people are making these daily choices on what they want to use, this impact is just getting even bigger. But the issue is that the offer is not there yet. So if we're going into a big grocery chain or a natural grocery chain, you will have a hard time to find the right packaging that do fit what you're looking for. And so this is where the opportunity lies. It's a window that we are going all in into. And we're very fortunate because if we have launched KIIMA 20 years ago, I think perhaps nobody will have care about what we do. And then at this timing where we are right now, where we see even more the impact of climate change and the necessity to make some change at the society level, we're just being the right fit. And so this is the demographic on the customer behavior right now. But on a market standpoint, we're talking about billions of units for each product that we will launch. So deodorant market is 3 billion unit in the US and Europe combined. And this is a recurring market that represent, I think right now, above 25 billion USD every year. And there is a lot of opportunity for new brands to come and shine. And we have these key elements that will help us to gain market share and have been helping us getting amazing traction. And this is being a very innovative packaging, effective product, a good looking product as well, which is very important. And one very uniqueness is the fact that we have local manufacturing, where right now, if we're just talking about Canada, 90% of the shelf is still US or out of the Canada made product.
No, I appreciate that overview on the market there. As you noted, there's definitely a convergence of consumer trends that are aligning to reflect those individuals who do want products that are more socially and environmentally conscious. And it's definitely a growing market, which is really great to see. For the investors who are listening today, maybe you could give us just an overview of the different products that KIIMA has, as well as how the company makes money. So, what the business model is.
Absolutely. So our first range of product are definitely our refillable deodorant applicator. And then we do have a sets of range of refill coming from our own refill, which we call the KIIMA Lab section, which are a very effective natural deodorant, all made here in Canada, and that are going to be made in Europe as well, starting a little bit on later on this year. And then we have all the refills coming from our different partners. So we have more than 5 partners right now in Canada that are other brands that we purchase the refill from, and some of them we manufacture for as a co-packer. And then we have the refill from all of our other brands coming from Europe that we are selling the applicator to, and then they resell to the market as distributor. So the way we currently make money is on 3 levels. It's direct to consumer, where we sell online the applicator and the refill, where our customer can come either on a single purchase or into a membership and get the refill shipped every 2 or 3 months, depending on their needs. And then we do have our retailer and distribution, where we sell to store like Jean Coutu or the Simons that purchase the applicator and the refill from us, and they resell it directly to the consumer. And then we have our partnership level, which is the brands that I've been talking about a bit previously, where we do sell the empty applicator, and they take care to distribute in their country the applicator and the locally made refill for each country.
Fantastic. It's great to see kind of the different avenues that you guys have for generating revenue there. And in particular, I think membership models are always something quite appealing to investors, and a great revenue model for the company as well. So it's great to learn a little bit more about those different channels. Now, I know you touched on kind of some of the relationships that you have with other businesses. I know you're at quite a few points of sale across Canada and beyond now as well. So would love to hear a little bit more for the listeners today. What KIIMA's traction has kind of been to date, as well as what the company's plans are for continued growth into the future.
Absolutely. So we launched in the market just a little bit more than 2 years ago. So our first year was really a year to establish ourselves and do some testing. So we have chosen specific point of sales where we wanted to try our packaging, ensure that the customer understand our product, because it still require a little bit of education to move from a single use plastic deodorant applicator to a refillable one. And so our first year was slow paced, where we really have a specific target retail location. The trial has been doing very great, and we moved from that year. I think we end up our first year, we were about 70 point of sales at the end. And we ramp up last year, opening the valve from 70 to close to 800 point of sales in Canada. And so it's been growing very fast. And it's funny because I had our review with one of our biggest retailer actually yesterday, and getting retail shelf space is something, but making sure we get velocity, that the product is selling and customer keep
Yeah.
coming for them on the shelf. That's where the game is, and because that's where you will be able to scale, get that retailer confidence, and have them want to list more of your product and keep pushing your brand. And I can confirm that our largest retailer is really happy about our performance, and we have over exceed what we were planning to sell on their shelf for our first 8 months with them. And so it's a great timing in terms of where we're going next. So the goal right now is to keep pushing into Canada. Most of our retail point right now are in the Quebec area, and so we are working to increase our distribution outside of Quebec, and it's going well. We have trade show plan. We have already interest from retailer outside of Quebec to list of product. We have already retailers outside of Quebec, of course. And as we keep growing into Canada, we're starting to establish our distribution as well in the US. We understand that CPG funding for the next round coming will require potentially outside of Canada investors. We finger crossed that we won't need that, but being realistic, we think we will. And so we have already meeting plan with funds outside of Quebec, and they required us to have a bit more traction in the US and keep growing in Europe. And so these are our main target for the next 12 months.
Well, congratulations on the success and traction you guys have seen so far. I think growing from what was it, 70 kind of points of sale to 800 within a year is just incredible growth. And it's nice to see that you're having a great relationship with those partners there. And I think, as you noted, those expansion plans are key and definitely makes sense to penetrate a bit more of the US market, particularly as you seek additional capital there. We always talk, there's often a difference between kind of risk capital in the US than Canada, and there tends to be obviously much more available in the US there. So definitely makes sense as you look to grow throughout North America and into Europe as well. So it's nice to hear a little bit more about
I
those
think
plans.
I think this is also a bit of misconception. Raising capital as growing a startup is something hard to do. So if you speak
Yeah,
to any founders in Canada, they might think the grass is greener on the other side. I speak with founder in the US; they say it's hard. It's hard too.
yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of being very well prepared and building the right relationship, and that's what we're looking forward to do. And we're also in an era where we're blessed in terms of the capacity. If you were thinking or talking about launching in Europe and in US at the same time, I'd say like 10 years ago, it will require so much hard work to do. But
Yeah.
right now, the distribution system are established, our direct to consumer are already on fire, and we're already selling online in the US. And so for us, it's just a continuity. It's not like that hard thing to do.
Absolutely. No, appreciate you sharing more on those future plans for sure. Shifting the focus a little bit to your role with the company, obviously, leadership plays a pivotal role in a company's growth and success. Perhaps you could share a little bit more just on your philosophy on leadership and how you bring a sense of inspiration and motivation to your team.
Absolutely. I think as a startup, we have this unique power that we can try things, and it's the time to do it because we can pivot very fast. And so, as we launch in retail, we have been trying different type of retailers to see which one is the good fit, and that's a bit the philosophy that we keep within the team. I want people to be able to use their energy and stay focused on the game plan, of course, but have the latitude and the space to propose things, to try things, and we will make mistakes. But from the three mistakes we make, we will do something very incredible on the fourth that if we didn't give ourselves the space or the chance to work on, we will not be able to do that. So that's the philosophy. And as we grow, I want people to take risks so we can take risks for the brand, of course, calculated risk. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's I think the philosophy in the team, and we're very collaborative. So when we have issues or looking at new challenges, we take part of the team. We do a brainstorming session. Everyone's idea is important, and then people go back and work on their specific part of the project. And so I think we have an amazing team right now where people enjoy coming to work, and we're looking forward to keep growing the team.
It's an amazing approach. It's definitely important to be able to test and iterate, especially as you're doing something incredibly innovative and bringing new products to market. So it's great to hear the approach you have with the team there. One of the favorite questions that I always like to ask founders is just um, if maybe there's a defining moment in your company's journey so far, a moment where everything kind of seemed to take a significant turn, or perhaps a favorite moment that you've just had with the company along this journey that you've been on.
I have so many. I mentioned going when I left the Green Beaver
Yep.
office, the first time I really like introduced a potential customer to the product. I was on a cloud in my car leaving that meeting. It was insane. I think one other moment that came to mind was actually we never reach out to Jean Coutu or Groupe Métro, and they reach out to us. But it was the
Oh,
first week where we announced that the company was going to launch, and so we've been working in stealth mode for close to a year and a half, 2 years before we did our first Instagram post. And within the first week, we received an email from the purchasing manager at Groupe Métro saying, "We are interested to list your product. We want to meet you." I honestly, I cried that day. It was a tear of joy, but just like it felt like nonsense. We were dreaming to be in such a retailer in perhaps two,
yeah.
3 years. At that time, we had to tell them we were not ready because that was the truth. And it's something very hard to do as a startup to say no to something. But the minute we were ready, we reached out to them, and it was one of the fastest deal I made for the company. It took us overall 6 hours, I think, like 2 meetings back and forth, and we had the PO from Jean Coutu and Brunet, and so that was incredible. And now seeing that the product sells on the shelf, I think we're very happy. We have moments that we're also looking forward to that are not have yet happened, but launching our second product later on this year, and just our day to day is just nothing short from amazing. And seeing that community is getting involved and customer are happy is definitely what's make us strive.
That's incredible. I really appreciate you sharing that story there. I mean, how just incredible is that to have such a recognized brand reach out to you guys to carry your product? That's pretty amazing. So
Yeah, it
congratulations
was.
on that.
Yeah, I can't disclose how what was that feeling. I think any startups, if they have like their dream retailer reach out to them the first week they post on Instagram, definitely give you the push in the back you need to keep going and never give up.
Absolutely. Now, being a founder, co-founder, and CEO of a startup, I know is not an easy job. It's very busy. So, life as an entrepreneur is always busy. But when you're not working, is there anything that you'd love to do?
Definitely, I'd love to go climbing. Um,
Nice.
I love to go just outside and enjoy the nature, meet friends, traveling. I've not had a chance to travel so much since we launched the company, but traveling is definitely, I think, something everyone should do to just open their
Mhm.
eyes and get into learning other way of living this life. And yeah, anything, reading books, fantasy book. I try to read more business books, but I realize I just end up working again when I do that. So yeah, reading, just putting my mind off on other things than work. But obviously, I'm working way more than pretty much everyone I know. But I love what I do, so I'm the lucky one in the equation. But yeah, doing some activity, sports is what keeps my mind refreshed to come back to work.
No, that's great. And I think to your point, travel is definitely great for so many people, particularly as you're wanting to learn more about the world and, like you said, kind of open your perspective and framework. So yeah, really appreciate you sharing more of that there. Now, kind of circling back to the business and in particular kind of raising capital. I know you've touched on kind of what some future plans might be with that regard, but we'd love to hear a little bit just about what your experience raising capital for the company has been so far, and maybe you can also tell us your goals with this round of community capital through FrontFundr.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, to start with a question about our experience so far, we only have met private investors to date. We were at pre-seed and seed stage, so that was making sense for us. We do have met some VCs, but there are not many CPG VCs in
Yeah.
Canada, and most of them has thesis to funnel for growth. So you have to reach more than 10 million in sales, and that's where they come in. We spoke with many like the BDC or Desjardins Capital that can come in later on, and so we have many options for the next round, especially with our current numbers and the fact we're on track with our projection is rare for startups, and so we have many options in front of us, and we didn't met so many investors, so it's kind of time consuming to meet investors in general. I'd say our close rate is very very high of the number of investors that are joining when we do a one-on-one presentation and showcase the number, the game plan. And so I think we're lucky in that sense. And our thinking for investors is the same as customer. Someone is out there right now, has money to invest in a startup and is just looking for you to reach out, and all you can do is miss the presentation or fail along the due deal. But there are people that do have money and want to support the local Canadian brand. It's our job as founder to just find them. And so that's our perspective. That's how we see our customer as well. And we just want to ensure that there's a right fit. And that's why we also did FrontFundr, is to get out there, to give the possibility for more investors to learn about KIIMA, and it's also to give Canadian investors the possibility to invest in a fast growth CPG company before we have to go to VC and this kind of investment because become inaccessible, or they just won't get the chance to invest in us. And the second reason why we did FrontFundr is because we're community driven. At the end of the day, if we want to have our impact, and the only way we can reach our mission as a company is if people keep using our product and support us, because having great innovation that nobody use will just do nothing. And we want to give back to our community. And for those in our community that were looking to invest in KIIMA, we wanted to give them this opportunity, and we're very happy on how this is going so far with the campaign.
That's great. It's definitely, as you noted, really exciting to kind of bring your community and your customers along for the journey with you as investors as the company looks to grow. So I think that's really exciting. And another point that you mentioned earlier is just kind of how much of the beauty and cosmetics or deodorant shelf space is consumed by American companies. And this is a really great opportunity to be able to invest in a Canadian company as well. So yeah, definitely appreciate you guys doing this form of capital raise. And I wanted to ask as well for this round, maybe you could give us some more insights into the use of funds as well and kind of how
Absolutely.
the capital invested will support the business's growth.
Yes, absolutely. I think one of the major milestones that we will accomplish with this round is launching our second product. So it's another skincare applicator that is refillable that's launching this year. We got the first sample out of the production line. We've showcased some of them to some investors. Everybody's looking forward to this, so are we. And increasing our product portfolio will help us in many ways. It's going to increase our average purchase and dollar value when people buy online. Will give us as well the opportunity to invest more in marketing and keep growing the community. And so the use of the fund is to launch this new product, to go and increase our customer range in Canada, but also in the US and in Europe. It's going to be enabling us to launch our direct to consumer in Europe. And so right now we're available in many countries with our partners in distribution, but that's going to help us launch and establish our distribution there. The whole project is all planned and ready. We just need to push on the button to get this started. And it's going to help us to invest into automation equipment to increase our production capacity, to ensure that our growth is never slowed down by production. And so these are really the key area where we will invest as we keep growing the company.
Right, that's wonderful. Thank you for providing more of that overview there. For those listening as well, there's definitely more information on the campaign page as well to take a look at. But appreciate you sharing more of that, Sam. Now, just as we kind of get close to wrapping things up today, I always love to ask entrepreneurs such as yourself if maybe there's a quote or piece of advice that you've received that's guided you along your entrepreneurial journey so far.
That's a good question. I've received personally so many advice because the first thing we did was to have an advisor committee in place. That's
Okay.
from day one. So I've been having like personal coaching from advisor since the get go. It's hard to say one advice. I think one advice that's coming. This one is coming from my father. So my father is also an entrepreneur. He said, and he keeps repeating me that every time we speak. I think so. He says always think about cash first and ensure you never run out of cash. And that's something that I'm very working on every day. I'm going to see our projection. I look at our expenses and really make sure we're on track and ensure we got enough cash flow for the next stage of growth. So I think that's an advice that everybody should be concerned, not be obsessed like in a matter of cash is more important than anything, but just ensure your company thrive and can survive. And cash is definitely one of the most important tools and to utilize well.
I would agree with that. I think that's a great piece of advice for sure. Now, last question today, just as we're wrapping things up. If you could leave investors with three things to take away about your company, what would they be?
I'd say that one of the things is I believe we're one of the most interesting opportunity as a game changer and brand that's going to have a large impact in the world in the coming years. The other thing is what you do in your daily life has an impact and has a large impact. So make good choice on your product that you choose. Try to choose local product. Try to choose Canadian product, but more than anything, try to invest in Canadian brand. And it's not specific to KIIMA, but dig, you'll find there's more than those investment that your financial advisor is going to tell you. So find opportunity for yourself. They're there. And the last thing is, KIIMA is building the refillable future in skincare.
Those are some great words to leave investors with. Really appreciate that there, Sam. For those who would like to learn more about the opportunity, you can do so at frontfundr.com/KIIMA. That's KIIMA. There's some great information on the campaign page, including some exciting perks for investors to look into as well, and a great video at the top of the page. So definitely recommend everyone check it out. And Sam, thank you so much for being here today. It's been a pleasure chatting with you and learning more about KIIMA.
Thanks to you. You've been very great on this, to be honest. I might call you if I have other requests for podcasts.
Absolutely.
And thanks, everyone, for listening.
For anyone new to the podcast, FrontFundr is Canada's leading equity crowdfunding platform, enabling all Canadians to invest in the most exciting startups and growth stage companies, something that was previously only available to the 1%. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter so you can have your questions answered in an upcoming episode. This podcast episode is for informational purposes only and should not constitute financial advice. Investors should conduct their own due diligence on any investment they may be considering on FrontFundr. For details of any offering listed on FrontFundr, refer to the offering document on their campaign page at www.frontfundr.com.